Welcome to Epicenter, the hub of innovation in the heart of Helsinki, where ideas come to life and creativity thrives, where innovation meets community. Get ready to learn, network, and make an impact. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, welcome. Oh, wow. How did we feel about that video? That's good stuff, right? Thanks to our partners at Cast and Sisters for helping us create that, and our marketing manager, Essie. Where are you? There we go. For that labor of love. We are ready to get pumped, and we thought Epicenter community events are all about sharing, growing, networking. How can we start that immediately? So that was a cool way I got a little chills watching it. Feeling good. Well, hey, welcome to Epicenter. My name is Joey. I am the community manager here, and I see so many faces that are smiling at me, and that feels really nice. But also, I see so many faces that I absolutely know and recognize. So I know that everyone here is really familiar with our tradition that we have. I see some shaking hands. So what we do, here at Epicenter for the first few seconds of each event is we clap for ourselves. It's because we've made it into the building. It's not snowing anymore today, is it? I haven't seen outside in a few hours. But also, it makes me feel better about myself. I can feel a little bit at ease. And then also we're laughing and we're joking and we're playing, right? So for the first 10 seconds of this event, we're going to take this time to clap for ourselves. Ready? So 1, 2, 3. Woo! Yeah, come on, let's go. Now the endorphins are running. We're ready to hear about founders. Okay, so Epicenter is a playground and a meeting arena for local change makers, entrepreneurs, to come together to share ideas and to grow. And we support this by creating a physical space where networking, knowledge, and collaboration act as a platform for the acceleration of innovation and growth. With this, we help our community members to create the workspace of the future. So all of that means that we're here tonight to network, to meet each other, and to have a fantastic time. And I have to say, wowie, we had 275 people register for tonight's event. And that's so amazing. We've watched this community grow over the past few months. From the first event that I hosted, had 10. And 7 of us were staff. So to watch where we are right now means an absolute lot. So none of this is possible without all of you. So one more time, give yourself a big round of applause. And don't be shy, don't be shy. You're allowed to clap for yourself in front of an American. Okay, so International Women's Day is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. Tonight, we have gathered some of the most dynamic and accomplished entrepreneurs to share their personal journeys with us. These inspiring founders have taken the path less traveled and paved the way for others to follow in their footsteps. I couldn't be more excited to begin. So, are you ready for us to begin? Yeah, okay. One disclaimer. I am not Finnish. And so tonight, we will all be on a first name basis. I am Joey, and our first speaker tonight is the CEO and co-founder of riskrate, a company that allows growth faster and with less risk by giving unique business-critical insights about products, customers, and money flow using machine learning and big data. Before riskrate, Päivi was the head of treasury for several family-run and NASDAQ-listed global companies. So let's give a huge round of applause for Päivi, CEO and co-founder of riskrate.
Yes, hello.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And this is for you.
Thank you so much. Hey, hello everybody. So my name is Päivi, and I am a co-founder of riskrate. So, sorry. What happens? This? No, the next one. Oh, this one, yes. Okay, so before riskrate, so I was working in mid-sized companies, and my work was to analyze financial data. But what happened in practice was that I was picking data from multiple banks and finance tools to the reporting templates. And it was really frustrating. So not only it was killing my motivation, but it made our reporting very slow and really expensive. So let's see. So one day I left this post-it note to my door and started the journey to cooperate this, so automate this cash forecasting process. And to get started, so I didn't know anybody in the tech sector. For example, I printed my business cards and learned to make cold calls to get the first customers. And I was so lucky that I was applied to Kuos Accelerator program, and this was summer 2018. And during this program, so I hired a full stack developer, and also I met an advisor. It was Kotka Ship Festival, and so we started to automate this process, and we founded riskrate. And so we had a very long incubator process. So it took like 18 months to build the first product with our pilot customers. And we were so excited about this data and machine learning to automate the whole cash forecasting process that we missed the data architecture. So when we get more customers, our product got stuck. So I found myself doing the full-time testing instead of talking to customers to get the feedback. And when I had that chance, so I was hearing very happy ears to customers, and instead of asking right questions and getting the feedback. So it was clear that it was failure. In this case, so it would have been very, very easy to give up. But I have my experience about the other tools in the market, and I knew how painful it will be to forecast this cash flow manually. And also the learning curve, it was pretty high because 18 months of intensive work with a small team, we learned a lot. And also we got feedback to customers. So we had paying pilot customers, and the feedback was very, very encouraging. So one day, it was one morning, and I just decided that I will go to the Framery. And now I'm going to hire CTO and co-founder, and I'm not going to go out from the Framery as soon as I've found him or her. But in this case, it was him. So it was one weekend, and I made a lot of calls and then sent LinkedIn messages, and finally, so it succeeded. So this was the first succeed, I can tell you, in 2 years. So Tuomas joined as the CTO co-founder to our team, and he resigned his work. And together, Tuomas and me, so we get started with a team of 2 people. And we were kind of working in a garage in 12 months. It was very hard work. And as a result, so this was kind of 1 year ago, so we launched our tool. So riskrate, it's not only forecasting cash flow, but it's optimizing cash flow. And it's done for companies who are operating in multiple countries. And we got our first customers in States and Asia and Europe. So lessons to learn. So if there is anybody here today who is having the same situation I've been for some time ago, so these are for you. So first thing is that these obstacles, so never underestimate the power of obstacles, because they are not nice. But if you want to move forward, so it's very important that you solve them one by one and without quitting. So especially in the hard times. Just focus on problems one by one. And second one, so the Northern Star, so some may call it passion, and I guess we all have our Northern Star, and to me, it's here. So sales and marketing tools, they have upgraded themselves over the last decade, but not so much happened in finance, and especially in cash forecasting. So these tools are very expensive to buy. They are using stale data. They require manual work, even finance degree. And that's the reason that CEOs don't have access over the money flow or cash flow. And it's very important because this cash, so it's very important for companies because without cash, you can't run your business. So even you have a steady pipeline, growing revenue, your product is great, but if you run out of cash, your company is dead. So that's why we think at riskrate that every CEO should have the basic right to have access to cash flow, to see the cash flow, even if it's startups or bigger companies, and that drives me every day. And the last but not least, so risk takers, so what we startups are, so this whole world would be totally different without taking risk, so without startups. And times what we are living today, I think startups are needed more than ever. And so if I'm thinking about the journey, so the best advice ever I have got are the other founders. So the third advice to remember is to pay it forward and help others the best you can. So thank you so much, and let's stay in touch.
Okay, another huge hand. You have to stay on stage because we're going to
Okay.
get to the. I'll take the clicker,
Yep.
though, but we're going to get to the point of the evening where we talk about really tough things. There's another tradition at Epicenter where I ask hard-hitting questions of all of the founders who come on stage. So, is this okay if I ask?
Of course.
You don't have a choice, but
As many as you want.
Okay, so being in the business of reducing risk, would you rather skydive or swim with sharks?
Oh, swim with sharks.
Tough question.
Sharks.
Swim with sharks?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Huge hand for Päivi.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just a little bit of fun, a little bit of levity to keep the afternoon going. The next person I'd like to invite to the stage is a startup founder, coach, and advisor. Her company, Work Ahead, develops video survey technology that enterprises and investors use for hearing feedback directly from workers, smallholder farmers, and communities in emerging markets. Before becoming an entrepreneur, she lived in 6 countries, worked for organizations like EY and the United Nations, and started a program for startups solving global development challenges at the technology conference Slush. She holds a Master of Science in Technology from Aalto University. Please help me welcome Ilona, there we go, CEO and co-founder of Work Ahead.
Hey.
Hey, bye. Thank you so much. And it's just folk. Yep.
Hi, everyone. Lovely to meet you. I'm Ilona, and I'm excited to be here with you today. First, I want to say happy International Women's Day.
Awesome.
As an engineer, I always thought that why should I celebrate that I can do the same things as men, like doesn't matter what my gender is. But during the past years, it's kind of been a theme for me to discover what does it mean for me to be a female founder, and how do I kind of embrace the whole of me in the startup community, which I've discovered from my current perspective, it can be quite kind of masculine. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about who I am. Then I'm going to share some thoughts about what does it mean for me to be a founder and what does Work Ahead do. And then I have some thoughts on related to the International Women's Day and what I was just sharing. So as Joey already shared, I graduated from Aalto, or it used to be called TKK. And I used to live abroad quite a bit, to the extent that I never felt that I quite fit in Finland. And during the COVID, I kind of was forced to stay here, and it's probably one of the longest periods I've stayed in Finland. And I could never kind of feel settled in any of the corporate jobs I did. Actually, I would like to ask here, how many of you are currently founders? Can you raise your hand? And how many are like aspiring founders, considering you might want to become a founder? Okay, how many of you are in like corporate jobs currently? Okay, thanks. So I used to work in large organizations, and I kind of could feel that it was intellectually inspiring for me, but it kind of didn't feel meaningful for me. I felt that I should be doing something else, something that actually feels impactful for me and is kind of uniquely positioned as something that I can do with my skills and with my kind of values. So that kind of led me to becoming a founder. For me, starting a company is almost like an expression of the change I want to see in the world. So you can imagine I'm like a poor fit in most SaaS events where the other SaaS companies are like, I'm going to optimize your marketing tactics on Facebook and Instagram. And we are like, we are doing surveys for emerging markets, so companies can hear about human rights and sustainable development in places like Zambia or Afghanistan or Vietnam. So for me, I would say the experience of living in places like Brazil and Nigeria before starting the company kind of exposed me to how fortunate we are and kind of challenged me thinking like, how could we create tech that somehow contributes to equality, fairness, raises our awareness and consciousness, and kind of creates a shared view that, you know, if our work is somehow affecting somebody in Bangladesh, shouldn't we be aware how we're impacting them, and shouldn't we do business with them in a manner that's also fair for them? So that's kind of the starting point of for work ahead. And I kind of want to speak about this because I feel like often when we're pitching something, we're kind of just like, oh, here's the problem and this is how we are solving it. And I kind of feel like I'd like to speak about why we are doing something. And I feel there's been this shift in the way we do business, that it's not just about where do I make the most money and I don't care how I make it, but a shift towards I want to make my business in a way that's fair for the people and fair for the environment, that leaves a positive mark in the world. And I know, and maybe not everybody thinks that way yet, but I think when we speak about it and we do business in this way, it's going to start creating ripples and change how everyone else works as well. I'd also like to note that being an entrepreneur will challenge you in also the way you do business. And I wanted to create a work life that suits me. So I think that's something that kind of, for example, at the start, if I didn't feel like working at 10 o'clock and I took a break, I would almost feel guilty. And I'm like, of course I need to take a break if I feel like a break, because then I'm going to work more efficiently after. But we're kind of conditioned to a certain kind of working. So becoming an entrepreneur was so much unlearning those conditions and then kind of seeing, how do I want to work that actually feels good for me and it feels good for everyone else. So that's kind of brief introduction. What does it mean to be a founder? I want to share some thoughts about what I've discovered on my path of several years as a founder. I think we all have unique interests and unique skills. So I think it's important we pursue a life that's like right for us. And it's maybe not right for everyone to be a founder. There's so much impact and so much meaning you can create at existing companies. But I think it's important to kind of look within and see, am I happy with what I'm doing right now? And what do I wish to create in the world? So that's kind of something that, you know, we are here probably only once. So how do you want to spend your waking hours? Pursue things that interest you. Then it's kind of hard as a female founder that there's not a lot of role models. So sometimes we kind of don't recognize our gifts because we don't see other people pursuing maybe things that we slightly are interested in, or we don't get the support for pursuing certain things. But I think the more you discover your gifts, the more confident you feel about sharing them as well. But it's interesting. So I always share that I'm an engineer. And sometimes people ask you, oh, what did you study as an engineer? And I'm like, computer science and this and this. Well, can you code? So I'm kind of like, if somebody says part of their degree was in computer science, like, would you ask a male engineer, can they code? You know, you're going to be, if you pursue things that interest you and they are not fit with the society today, you won't be getting always the support for that. But I'd say pursue anyways and ignore everyone else. Trust yourself. And I think my last point is like commitment to growth, and I say love. Commitment to growth means that I think there's always more to life. And by expanding, learning new things, you know, our life can constantly become kind of more. And this is something I struggled with corporations, that kind of I felt it was the same. Whereas as an entrepreneur, you're constantly kind of like challenging yourself, and you do one thing that's really exciting, and then you're like, oh, I want to do the next thing. That, you know, like right now we're speaking with this massive, largest international financier for developing markets. And I would be like, wow, I would love us to work with them. Like, there's constantly a new thing that's bigger than you did previously. And why I have love there is I feel we often do things either from fear or from love. And it's kind of a question that, can we do something from love? And like Päivi was saying, one of the last things in her presentation, help everyone else. And that's something that comes from love. You know, if we share our gifts, support each other, then everyone can kind of fulfill their deepest desires and share their gifts with the world. I didn't really speak so much about work ahead, but if you want to follow us, we irregularly update our Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. If there is anyone who is very excited about human rights, emerging markets, we're doing a really cool launch together with the largest retailer in Finland, still a secret, kind of, and a very large international nonprofit in Maria at the end of the month. We looked into the textile supply chain in Bangladesh. So if anyone is very keen on these topics, come and say hello to me, and I'll send you an invite to our launch coming up. And please come and say hello if you have any questions. We don't have time for audience questions, but lovely to see you all here, and happy International Women's Day.
Let's give a huge round of applause. I will take this and then give you the hard question. So you mentioned that you lived in 6 countries. Mm-hmm. So this question may have come in handy at some point in your travels. So would you rather be able to play any instrument or speak any language?
Oh, that's a hard one. Probably play any instrument, because English is so widely spoken that I could kind of get away with that, and it would be really epic to be able to play any
I also
instrument.
agree. I've gotten pretty far in English. Hey, huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, how are we doing? Good, good. There is, don't leave, stay. There's also going to be food in the back a little later. We're not just giving you M&Ms and popcorn. I am not that American. There's some food in the back. If you get a little hungry, you can't wait. We have snacks back there. But our next featured founder is a tech startup founder, CEO, and engineer. She likes building things with impact and helping people. She's worked on 4 continents, another world traveler, mostly on projects that have seemed impossible at first, and has made them happen. She is a burnout survivor, and now she is ending burnout at work with her startup, Velbi. So please welcome Piia, CEO and founder of Velbi.
Yeah!
Yeah! And this energy is only matched by one person. Please, thank you.
The crazy Finn. Yeah, there you go. Hi, everyone. Yes, we're still awake. All right, cool. This story starts at the bottom. You never want to be at the bottom, but the truth is, a lot of us end up there at some point in our lives. That's definitely what I did about 6 years ago. I would like to ask, how many of you have been through a burnout? Yeah, I'm going to say about 40%. How many of you know someone close to you who's been through a burnout? I see almost all hands raised, right? So I'm not alone. That's a relief. So 6 years ago, I had been living what you would call the high life of overachieving, bad self-esteem, which I compensated for by trying to be the best at everything, and never really listening to my own needs or wants, pushing inconvenient thoughts, tiredness to the background so that I could perform and make people love me, right? That ended on September 4th, 2017, when I was unable to get out of bed. My heart was beating like it was racing out of my chest, and I was crying for no reason. And I'm a stubborn person, but even I realized that at that point, something was not okay. And that started a 4-year process of recovery, 3 years of therapy. With the help of friends and family, I was actually able to pull myself out of that. And once I was okay again, I got really fucking pissed off. I got angry. Do you know why I got angry? I started looking into what actually happened to me and why it happened. And then I find that at least 40% of everyone, everywhere working is having burnout symptoms as we speak. So I'm like, it's not just me. I'm not a failure. Turns out we all are. And that's the positive message I'll leave you with, and that's the that's the show. No, there is actually hope, and I'm going to come to that. I realized that I thought I was the only one who was failing in my life because I was feeling this way, that I couldn't sleep. And I didn't want to bring it up because what if they tell me that's true? So I never had to face it. But then I started looking into it, and I'm just like, 40%. It's a systematic issue. It is something that's not just dependent on you. And here's what I usually do when I explain burnout to people. How many of you go to grocery stores every now and then? Right. How many of you eat cereal? Some of you, and the rest of you are familiar with cereal. So when you go to the shelves, you get to choose what you buy and what you eat, right? But turns out most of the options are already bad for you. And someone put them there. This is how work life works for us now. No matter what you do, how much you meditate, or how well you take care of your sleep, or how much you self-reflect, but at the end of the day, if your boss sucks, you're not going to be able to fix that. And this is the norm, because, again, 40%, right? At least, by the way, when we work with Velbi, and we work with about 30 companies in 4 different countries now, we are actually seeing that about 25% of all people are at the verge of burnout, 50% are having burnout symptoms, and 1 in 4 is doing okay. So maybe not 40%, maybe more. So I'm a very impact-driven person, and I've gone for impossible projects, and this is definitely one of those, again. But I have now the skills and understanding that come from a personal burnout experience and looking at the problem to avoid some of the mistakes I've made before in my life. Being a startup founder is not the easiest path to take. I'm going to say that because there is constantly too much to do. You're constantly worrying about you're running out of money, and there is never an end to the challenges you're having. And if you're an overachiever and a passion-led person who also likes to help others, so check, check, check. By the way, do a self-reflection. If you check 3 out of 3, that might expose you to burnout, just saying. I know. But anyway, at the end of the day, I'll just look at that for a bit and I'll continue talking in a second. This is actual marketing material from my company. I am doing this because I literally have no other choice. I choose to believe this problem can be fixed. I also believe that by taking action against something that I see as a huge problem and a source of suffering for so many people around me, by taking action, I am actually believing that things can change. And I'm changing things, but I'm also taking the chance of failing publicly, and I'm telling everyone what I'm doing. And through that, I'm actually finding the courage to be who I am and to not be afraid of people seeing me fail. Well done, good failure, I saw that, and I love you. Good job. Because by taking action against our fears, which is what I learned in therapy, we actually become the person we want to be. And those fears don't no longer have power over us in our lives, right? That's how I survived, by having this company called Velbi, where we are trying to find ways to help people actively avoid burnout at work. So not just, put people on sick leave or therapy, but to actually change the environment that they have so that it's healthy, right? Thank you. Somebody agrees. Yes.
Sorry.
Amen. All right. So this is the last slide. I have vowed to myself never again. So never again will I let fear decide what I do in my life. Never again am I going to put anything before my own health, or the health of my co-founders, or the health of my employees, or the health of my partners, or anyone in my life. Because at the end of the day, if you're not healthy, what are you going to do? Airplanes, you put on your own mask first, and then you help others. So tech, growth, startup, also don't want to burn out. Not sure how you juggle that, but I'm going to find a way to do it, right? And I'm in bed at 10 p.m. every day, except maybe today, because I can get all the drinks I want at the bar. And if whatever I've been ranting about now is of any interest to you, please connect to me on LinkedIn, have a chat with me, and if you are interested in trying out Velbi, we have a free version coming up at the end of this month. So just drop me a message and I'll hook you up. All right. Peace and love, everybody. Thank you.
Huge,
Yeah.
and woo!
All right.
Oh.
All right.
All right. Keep it going. Keep it going. They deserve it. Okay. So there is true power in listening to yourself.
Right, yeah.
And so at Epicenter, we love the idea of superhumans doing super things. So why ask you, what is your superpower?
I asked this from my team. I didn't know you were going to ask this, but I did ask this, and they said self-reflection. I'm mentoring someone who said that I self-reflect too much. I think it's my weakness. And I said, you know what? I think actually it's really good, because if you can't self-reflect, you can't learn. And if you can't learn, you can't run a startup, because you're always going to be stuck. So self-reflection, I'm going to say.
Perfect.
All
Perfect.
right.
Perfect. One last huge round of applause. Thank you
Thanks,
so much.
Joey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ooh. Gonna rev my engines. That was so great. Let's keep the momentum going, shall we? Yeah, we're still feeling good?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So we are proud to feature one of our very own Epicenter Helsinki members next. She is a visionary, happy as a service entrepreneur, working to revolutionize employee well-being, engagement, and integration services. She is driven by her mission and has gathered an expert pool around her to bring her vision to life. She excels in inspiring people, taking brave actions, and leading in times of uncertainty. She also happens to be the leader of a rock band. I couldn't leave that one out. So please, let's welcome to the stage Jaana, CEO and founder of Breaks Finland.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you all. I will need to have notes so I won't forget. But I'm going to do something differently now. I'm gonna tell and share my story by using one of my favorite movies, Star Wars, because being a founder is like living Star Wars movies all again. So if you hate the movie, I'm so sorry, but you need to stick with that for me. So, as they say, this is where it all started. I was at home with my newly born twin girls and decided to do something less stressful and easier. So I founded a startup, which is quite, what people normally do. But, but it all started actually when Joey pointed out me being a lead singer in a rock band. It was the singing. I used to take singing lessons years ago, and singing was like a therapy to me. I felt like I'm alive, and I thought that how can we implement these creative methods to business life? And that was the original idea of breaks, which has changed a lot, but still that creativity lives deeply in our roots. But as we know, when I founded the company, most of the people told me that you've lost your mind. You're gonna get lots of obstacles. Everyone keeps telling you that you should stay at Helsinki Airport, where I used to work, and keep that steady job. But I just had the passion. I knew that the work life is gonna change. It needs to have more humanity. Humanity strikes back was my sort of a phrase. And then luckily there are people like here today. I can see Ritva-Liisa Luomaranta, who was among the first people that I called when I founded the company, and she was supporting me. So you need to have people who support you, as there are lots of people who can tell you what you can't do. Find the ones who tell you what you can do. And then, well, it's going to be hard. The first problem is that you're running out of money. I think that you're running out of money all the time, and the cash is burning, and you need to find ways to cope with the fact that team is changing, life is happening. Like in my case, 2018 autumn was one of the darkest ones. I lost my father, but I didn't have any other choice than keep on going, because that's what my dad would have wanted also. But some positive signals also came. You need to have right people to support you. So we got first advisors to join our team and help us. I know that Teemu Uotila from Vincit is not here today, but he believed in us when many people didn't. And Reidar Vasenius, who is still working with us, among the first advisors, really huge help. And our concept started to develop into creative breaks from creative methods. Well, then we started to talk about funding and how to find money to support the growth. And me having absolutely zero experience in talking to investors was all of a sudden running our first angel round. And what happened was COVID happened. So I was the entrepreneur who was having a round open when Finland was closed. But we managed to get some of it. So here we are still standing. But in a way, never give up. But I never forget that feeling when I was with these twins and one homeschooling and trying to remodel the whole service which we had, because COVID changed everything in our business. It used to be breaks on site, and then all of a sudden we started to think that, can it be done online? And it could. It actually opened some doors to us. We started to talk that why didn't we see this before? And we even sold the online breaks, and it started to get a little bit better. But it wasn't a solution. It wasn't clear enough. And again, we were thinking that something is missing from the equation, and we needed more money for the growth. But we were missing also the brand. We were missing, breaks wasn't enough. And then we started to talk about happiness. Happiness as a service was born. And then what happened? Again, empire struck back, which was the war in Ukraine. And again, we were in the middle of the financial round. We had just launched happiness as a service, and this horrible thing came along. And I have to admit that I was so shocked. I thought that, is this now it? Tries to universe tells that don't Jaana try anymore, that we're putting a little bit more obstacles. But and although it was horrible to watch the news, I was heartbroken. I was just thinking that I need to save the company, because actually happiness is what the world really now needs. And so last summer was hard, but it was in a way return of the happiness for me. There are some people, I think that TJ, if you're here, you know how you pushed me to get back on track, and lots of others. Johanna is here, and they told me that don't give up, although it wasn't easy. I really felt like, can we get the investors? Can world all of a sudden changed again? So now it feels like I'm talking about money all the time, but that's what you need to grow the business. So, and then when I started to believe again, people wanted to invest to breaks again. And it's like when you believe, the others will believe. And if you don't believe, the others won't believe either. So, and the power of branding was tested when I was pitching in Brussels last autumn. I still remember the angels from Europe, how excited they were about the happiness. One of them told me that I don't even understand the business you're in, but I really like that happiness as a service. I'm like, whoa, that's great news. They don't understand what we're doing, but they like the thing. But then again, we thought that one last time, we tried to find the angle. What are we missing from the equation? We are talking to HR, buyers, and it started to get a little bit clearer that in B2B world, there is missing a provider who puts under one umbrella all the suppliers, like Wolt did for food delivery. And that is what we're now doing. I really like this quote. It's a Women's Day, so stick to that. I didn't give up, so we have actually found now the track to which we are again seeking for bigger investments, but we are building a platform where you can find the best B2B solutions under one umbrella. Instead of talking about breaks, we are now talking about happiness as a service, and we already have buyers for that. So that's like a great news. And well, of course, I cannot leave this. May the force be with all of you. And if you'd like to join the force with us, you can buy our services or invest to us. But as a takeaway, I would still point out that you really need to find the right people who support you. I would not be standing here if I wouldn't have these awesome people who are, lots of them here even today, supporting me. And they have believed in me when no one else has. And this is like a promise that if someone wants to hear me talking about fundraising, I'm going to use The Godfather as the frame for that. So I'll leave you with that thought. And it's if you want to connect with me, please do it on LinkedIn and come and talk to me later on. Thank you so much.
Huge hand. Thank you so much. I'll stand on this side. Okay, so Jaana, there's simply no way that I can let you off the stage without talking about music.
Oh, no, knew it.
Okay. So, what song do you think best describes you? You can speak some of the lyrics, but if you wanted to sing it, we wouldn't be too upset about that either.
I already have an answer for that.
Okay, go.
This girl is on fire.
Awesome. Hey, one huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Thank you. I once did that at an interview. I used to do that in interviews in New York and just sort of say, hey, you can tell me about it and sing it. And then we were interviewing potential candidates here. And one person thought that I said you could sing it out loud. And she stood up and sang a 2-minute aria, of which my colleague and we had nudged each other. And then I told my husband is Finnish, about this. And he was like, is that legal? I said, I don't know. Hey, so I'm just... Anyway, tickled myself to think about that. The next founder has been crowned the cold calling queen of Finland due to the outstanding sales result her and her team have achieved for their clients. Her Cinderella story spans from years spent in the USA, as a stay-at-home mother to returning to Finland to create her Finnish-American dream here. She went from cleaning hospital rooms to working as a strategic sales consultant to CEOs and leadership teams. She has gained a loyal customer base of some of the largest companies in Finland and in the world. So please give a huge round of applause to Stina, CEO and founder of Good Call. This is for you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. What a joy to be here with you guys this I almost said morning, not morning, afternoon. And so my name is Stina Dansie.
Singing.
Yep, that one. All right. And also known as the cold calling queen. And founder and CEO of Good Call. And our mission is to eliminate bad calls from Finland. Not the way you'd think, not by stopping calls altogether, like a lot of people would maybe want to say, but by making good ones instead. And so what we do is we offer cold calling services, outsourced services, appointment setting. We also do qualitative research, market research, brand studies, customer experience and such. And also we help companies rewrite their sales pitches to make them more interesting. And also we help companies to set up their outbound sales to become systematic, to become more strategic, and just to make it work. Just a couple of things, what we've done and what we've been able to do so far is we've helped many companies that already maybe were market leaders, but we've still helped them grow anyway. Some of the companies we worked with, they've gotten over 10 times the money back that they invested in our services to begin with. And over the last several years, I've had the opportunity to open up doors, both for Good Call, but also for many other companies, startups and scale-ups, to do business with some of the largest companies in Finland and also in the world. And so I personally, I've worked with companies in the private healthcare sector, and also in the IT a lot over the last several years. But it did not start that way. I didn't start from the top. I actually started, and what I actually want to share with you is my story, like Joey said, a modern-day Cinderella story, which is my own, of how I founded the company. And so I lived in the United States for 7 years, and we moved to Finland. It's now been 14 years. And in the beginning, when we first got here, we had nothing. We had no network, knew Finnish, but not really at a level that an adult would speak. I moved to the United States when I was 17, pretty young. So coming back, we just had to figure everything out. So we had no jobs, we had no education, we had no way to make money, no network, not really even a proper support system. And really, I hate to say this, but also self-worth. Now, I've learned later on that the amount of money that you make does not determine your self-worth. I wish I could go back in time and tell the 25-year-old myself that this is so. But I'll share it with you guys. And so for several years here in Finland, we did everything that we could. I did everything that I could to make ends meet, to make a way for my family, to support our family, find jobs for my husband, find schools for him or me to go to. I did everything, and the harder I tried, the harder I failed. And I was almost ready to just completely give up on myself, give up on Finland, give up on my self-worth. This is never going to work out. And that's when sales found me. I learned to work extremely hard. I remember making cold calls in the middle of the night, calling to companies in Australia. One of the things I still kind of wonder how this ever happened, but I set up a meeting for a Finnish client of mine with the Sydney Opera House. That was pretty cool. They didn't get a deal, though. But set up a meeting, open the doors, right? Got to start somewhere. And but I learned to be systematic and effective because I had to support my family with just the cold calls, which was commission only. I learned to speak in a way that anyone would listen. And it's actually a very important skill to learn. But one of the most important things that I learned through cold calling was never to panic, never to give in to fear, and never to get desperate, because desperation doesn't sell. And that's why you have to get it on the inside of you that, it doesn't depend on this customer. This customer is not my source. They are not the ones paying my bills, right? I learned to live by faith. And what I oftentimes say, and this is sometimes misquoted, which is all right, but I say cold calling healed me, cold calling saved me, whatever, But that's really what happened. It changed my life. And I have since found that cold calling, it is not only a great way to test any marketing message or get information that you need in order to help the customers better. Great way to open up doors for business, and also an amazing, parallel to none, way to leave a lasting impression, a personal touch, right? So that's all true. But I've also found that cold calling and teaching people how to sell is actually one of the best ways that I currently know how to empower people and empower women. Help them to find their voices and teach them to speak in a way that people will listen. Because that does something to people. When you're a person and nobody cares what you have to say, and then all of a sudden you become a person that can craft a message, be interesting, be memorable, and people want to listen. It does something to you, right? And so over the last several years, I've had the opportunity, amazing opportunity, to train around 50 salespeople in-house at my company. Some of them have gone already out, and I'm so proud of them. For example, one of the first people that I ever hired was a high school friend of mine. And I'll just share a really brief version of the story. My company was getting a little bit bigger already, and I realized that, okay, I needed help. And so I'm thinking, okay, who could I ask? And I thought of this one person that I went to school with. And I sent her a text message, and I said, hey, I don't know what your work situation is like, but I'd like to offer you a part-time job. And she replies to me, and she goes, you will not believe what just happened. 5 minutes prior to you sending me that text message, I'm driving on the freeway shouting out to God that if you're real and if you can help me with finances, would you please help me now? And that's when she got my text message. God answers text messages. I hired a girl who was afraid to set up a dentist appointment for herself. She came to work for me and became one of the best cold callers I've ever had. I hired a lady who was in a bad marriage, very low self-confidence, and she came to work for me. I trained her how to sell, and today she does workshops in some of the largest companies that we've acquired together, and she's absolutely blooming, and it's amazing. And this right here is what excites me the most. Yes, I get excited about our customers getting results and working with big clients and all of that. But when I see the transformation that happens in people and their confidence when they find their voice and become what they were always supposed to be in the first place, that is a privilege. That gets me excited. And so I have no idea where I'm at with those slides. Just having a good time with you guys. So in a field where historically speaking, people have been poorly led, paid peanuts, and forced to work against their ethics and values, we wanted to build a company that builds people up, that helps people find their voices, that empowers them to then go on to greatness, either with us or on their own. Doesn't matter. Amen. And so really, and what I love to do, like within my own company and also outside when I go to train in other companies, it's not so much about finding one way to sell. Like this is something that I've been talking with a lot of my consultant friends, that so many people, they're always out to explain the one way, the one method that they came up with. But the thing is, I believe that when you find the confidence and the sales superpower within, like the methods kind of, I mean, they kind of matter, but they don't matter as much. That's what I believe. And that's what I want to do. That's what I've done, and that's what I continue to do, is to help people find their personal sales superpower and strength. And so I'd love to talk with you guys more. You guys are a great audience. I really appreciate all the nods and the smiles. It's helping me. Thank you. And the amen. That was good. Enjoy it. There's just one thing I want to leave you guys with, or 5. Rethink sales. So now, once and for all, make the decision. Is sales trying to shove something down somebody's throat that they don't want? Or is it perhaps helping somebody with the need that they might have? And if it is helping, it would be selfish of you to not help them. Rethink sales. Number 2, I already said that, but I'll say it again. Find your own personal superpower, sales superpower, because you all have it, and you wouldn't even believe the qualities that you have in yourself that you've never thought of as sales superpowers, that they actually are. So you can do sales, you can be successful your way. It doesn't have to be my way. And then dream big and start from the top. Large companies, they take a long time making their decision. So by the time, if you start now, by the time they're ready to buy from you, you'll be ready to be their service provider. Yeah? Start now. Don't wait. For example, like I never intended it to be this way, but I didn't have a website for the first 4 years. This is not a sales, this is not a consultation piece. Don't do this. But I did that. We didn't have a website to begin with. We just cold called. So we kind of did like a study almost, whether cold calling was really dead or not. We found out it wasn't. It's alive. And that was our method of customer acquisition. So anyway, don't wait until everything is ready, because as we heard from the other speeches, it's never going to be ready. So you might as well start now with what you have right now. You have enough to get a client, and then once you get one, then you can get another one. And then lastly, only you can hold yourself back. Nobody else can. So I just have to agree with all the other ladies. Don't let anybody hold you back. Believe in yourself. Find people that believe in you. That was a good one. And just go for it.
All right, big round of applause for Stina. Okay, had I been a better host, I might have given you the superhuman power question, but I guess I'm terrible. But I have a really serious question, and it's probably the most serious question that I will ask this whole evening. I ask this at every single one of our events.
I'm scared. Thank you.
You'll first have to whisper in my ear.
Okay.
Are you vegetarian?
Oh, gosh. No.
Great. Perfect. The last time I asked if someone was vegetarian, it did not work. So,
okay.
All right. In the morning, you're preparing your breakfast. Mm-hmm. Is it rye bread, ham, cheese, or rye bread, cheese, and ham?
It's gonna.
And there's only one right answer.
It's gonna have to be actually rye bread and cheese only.
No
ham.
Okay, well, so now I'm gonna have to take a poll from the audience. So, rye bread, cheese, ham. Let's hear it. Woo! Wait, rye bread, ham, cheese. No way! No way! Okay, hey, one huge round of applause for Stina.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm out to convert everyone to rye bread, cheese, ham. The ham touches your mouth, it's salty, it's delicious. I once said that I put jam, and I got kicked out of the country for a little while. But the Danes, they really liked me. So, okay, so you may have seen some artwork hanging around the room today and featured on the stage. This comes from one of our amazing, talented members, Emmi. Emmi is an experienced and award-winning content marketing professional and marketing generalist. She gets excited about well-organized and effective teamwork. I think she told me she'd like to be a stapler at one point. It was her favorite tool of working. She likes, sorry, sometimes I go off on tangents and they're funny to me, but clearly. Well-organized and effective teamwork, creative storytelling, and new interesting industries. Emmi will be showcasing her paintings and in a series called Good Enough here at Epicenter during the month of March. The paintings represent her personal journey towards self-acceptance and remind viewers that they are good enough just the way they are. So please help me give a huge round of applause to Emmi. Thank you.
Hey. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And wow, what kind of stories we just heard. It's an honor to be on the stage with you guys. And wow, I feel really inspired and a little bit nervous, so bear with me. My name is Emmi Paunonen, also known as Mansikkapehmis. On Instagram, if you're not Finnish, it means strawberry soft ice cream. If you wondered. And you can find me on Instagram in Mansikkapehmis and also in mansikkapehmis.fi. But yeah, I work here at Differo, which is Finland's leading content strategy agency. And we've been here at Epicenter for about 5 months now, and it has really been a blast. And I really, really, really like the community here. But today, here on stage, I'm not talking on behalf of Differo. I'm here talking on more personal matter. I'm here presenting my art and talking about why I do what I do. As you have probably seen, there is a series of paintings here that represent women's bodies, and to be more precise, a bigger and softer bodies. I am 36 years old, and if there are people around my age here, you know what kind of a world I lived in my earlier years, in the 90s and in the 2000s. When I was growing up, the beauty standards were these heroin chic and sporty and very, very thin bodies with no curves and no soft spots or lumpy skin. All the accepted good bodies we saw in media those days were thin and skinny, except if it was maybe a Disney villain, they were bigger. So to cut some edges, the representation of good people was thin and bad people were fat. That's kind of sad. You either know, as there is lots of women here in the audience today, or you can maybe imagine what it feels like to be a plus-sized teenage girl and not seeing anyone who looked like you. Not on TV, not on magazines, nowhere. No one like you was said to be beautiful or accepted or chosen first in the PE class. I tried to keep this shortish, so let's just say I grew up having lots of issues with myself, with body image, self-esteem, self-worth, and self-respect. And all of those, of course, affected the relationships I had or didn't have. I started building my self-esteem on Instagram a few years ago. First, I unfollowed all the goals accounts and other accounts that made me feel bad about myself. And then I looked for and found really beautiful people and accounts to follow that showed bodies like mine. I started following lots of plus-size accounts, so my Instagram feed was showing me bigger bodies and all the amazing swimsuit pictures of them with all the rolls and curves and bumps and lumps and everything just there visible. So right in front of my eyes every day, that's what I saw instead of goals accounts. And then one day I passed a mirror and I was like, damn, I'm beautiful. My big soft belly is cute. My thighs are strong and wonderful. And my booty is just fine. And I am beautiful. I am enough. And wow. No matter what some big shot in the beauty industry tries to say, my cellulite is just fine, and I don't need to lose any weight to be valuable or to be loved. So once again, this not so short story trying to be a little bit shorter. I started taking pictures of myself and putting them on Instagram. It was super scary at first, but thanks for the amazing and supporting feedback I got, it got pretty easy. And after a while, when COVID hit and I had nothing to do as I was locked at home alone, I started painting myself from those pictures, even though I have no education or any experience in painting. But as the name of this collection says, I am good enough and the paintings are good enough. Not everyone needs to be an expert or the best in something. Sometimes good enough is just enough. And I really love the feedback I have gotten and from the paintings and from the photos on my Instagram. It has been exactly what I had hoped to achieve, and I couldn't be happier. In the beginning, I said I'm here to tell you why I do what I do, and I'd like to sum it up with quoting this one message I received. Thank you, Emmi, so much for sharing yourself here. I just bought my very first bikinis, and I will put them on tomorrow when I'm going to the beach with my family. I realized that if I look at your photos and admire how beautiful you are, why couldn't I see the same beauty in myself? Thank you for helping me to accept and love myself. So.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Keep it going for Emmi. Thank you so much. Emmi, I don't have a question for you because I've asked you one before, but you can check out Emmi's art here tonight and then also in our showroom all month long here at Epicenter. Huge, huge round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Also, let's keep it going for Päivi, Ilona, Piia, Stina, Jaana, and Emmi. Yes. You have been such a fantastic audience, smiling and waving and laughing at my jokes. Even more, yeah. Oh, wowie! I feed off of your laughters, right? It's what keeps these cheeks high. No, but if you'll stay with me for just 2 more minutes, we're going to talk about everything else that we have going on here at Epicenter. Because as I mentioned at the beginning of this, we are a community. We are a playground for everything that just happened here tonight, for the sharing of stories, for the safe space for ideation, and to be vulnerable. And so we have created a pretty intense calendar throughout the year, and throughout the rest of the month we have some pretty awesome things. So I'm going to go to our next slide. And so on March 16th, which is next Tuesday, we have a series called Hired. This is where we're taking a monthly look at talent trends. So we've talked already about what is DEIB and why it matters to leaders. We've talked about employer branding and how to keep that top notch. Hybrid working and building culture. Now we're going to talk about difficult conversations in the workplace. We are very fortunate to have on hand Priyanka Banerjee, who's the CEO and co-founder of BusinessWiz, who will be our guide for this interactive workshop. And so there are QR codes, and I'm not seeing any cameras taking pictures. Awesome, awesome. And there's already 90 people signed up for this event. So again, it's another amazing opportunity to network with people who care about this topic. On March 22nd, we return back into the metaverse. This time, we talk about the societal impact of the metaverse, good, bad, or indifferent. On the panel will be Emmi, who is the CEO and co-founder of Aralyn, and Laura Olin, who is the CEO and partner of Zoin. Oh, wait, no, I'm going to keep it there because I saw some phones out. Wait, no, don't look at this one. Go to the next one. You have to choose this. This is a really, really great, especially if we're talking about that series. Okay. Next. No, shoot. I'm hired to do this. I got so excited about Metaverse. Okay, to end the month on March 28th, we will host our Tech Series. This monthly event series takes a peek into various industries to understand technologies and how we can create better synergies across industries. For our third event, this is going to be called Women in Tech. But we're not going to be talking about the struggles of being a woman in tech. In fact, we have 4 brilliant leaders in the conversation of AI and machine learning who will be here to talk about new advancements within that. So another one not to miss. So I brought my glass of wine up here this time. It's the first one I've had. I think I deserved it, right? So if you have a glass here, I'm going to try something new this time. You know, I'm trying to keep, I only have 6 or 7 jokes, and I'm using them all rapidly. And I asked ChatGPT to write me a few jokes, and they were fucking terrible. So anyone at ChatGPT, please get better at Joey jokes. But if you have a drink in your hand, please raise it in the air. Please give a round of applause for yourself, for being here, for our speakers and founders who lended their voice today. Please share the artwork. Stay around, network, learn, ideate. There's food, there will be music, there will be more drinks. If you need to know more about Epicenter, I am here. Christian, our country manager, is there. Essie, our marketing manager, is here. Serhan, our head of events, is there. Our service manager, Martina, is there. I saw Hari, my bro from another Mo, who's back there. He is our sales director. Thank you all so much for coming. Please stay, enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you. Thank you.